Hi guys, it's Vezo. Welcome back to the TTB show. I have with me Lefatse Dlamini and Thami Zondi on the line. So Lefatse, how are you doing today?
Angiyaphila Vezo unjani wena?
Hayi nami ngiyaphila. Usho ukuthi uyaphila nje kodwa.
Khulileka ngimnandi.
Hayi ngcono uma uright. Thami wena unjani lapho?
Ngiyasmile wonke ama-team awinile mos ama-team amakhulu awinile ku-Nedbank, so uyabona ukuthi wonke umuntu uyasmile.
Wonke umuntu happy, hayi nami ngiyabona. Hayi ke masingene kuyona masenze njalo. So, Kaizer Chiefs, the team on everybody's lips. So they have won 3 of the 5 matches that they have played recently, only losing one and only drawing one. So can we say that the glory days are back at Kaizer Chiefs? Or is it just luck? Lefatsi, what do you think?
For me, angeke ngize ngisho ukuthi the glory days are back. I feel like more needs to be done. It's just 5 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. We need to see more. If you're talking about glory days, you need to go back into the Kaizer Chiefs of Stuart Baxter, in my opinion. The one that was winning a league titles left, right, and center. And I don't think Uti Kaizer Chiefs is in that level. And remember, they are competing against Mamelodi Sundowns and maybe an Orlando Pirates who are also doing well Guma Cups. And I don't think Kaizer Chiefs they are in that level as yet. So for me, let's just say let's give the boys time. Let's give Coach Nabi time. Let us see what he can do. But kule language yalezi insuku, let us allow him to cook. And then so bona ngama results ukuthi kuphekile yini, ngabe kuyadleka yini. But for now, for me, let's just see what they can do. Let us give them time.
All right, okay. And wena Bhuthami, ngokubona kwakho, wena ubona ukuthi kwenzakalani lapha kwi-case?
Yeah, man. I think Lefatse here and there is correct. When you say Amakosabuyile, they must have something to show. For me, to be honest with you, Kaizer Chiefs was struggling, and everyone knew, and they were badly struggling in terms of the fact that there was no direction. It was just all over. Certain players were just performing, bringing a direction. So all you can say right now is that there is a direction, there is a system in place, there is a structure. So you can say now there is a team, there is a Kaizer Chiefs. But that's topic for another day. Yes, they are doing well. Yes, they are in the quarterfinals of the Nedbank Cup. Yes, they are picking points here and there in the league. I think about match up the with Vasha Stellenbosch away about the man they must be very careful. Let's give Coach Nabi like who the fans agapege as get it a man's man so say and fagu improve. There's a direction, honestly speaking. But as to say but Abu is very early.
Mhm, mhm. I know, I understand. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi sonke siyavumelana. I think I would also agree with both of you ukuthi we would be jumping the gun if we say Kaizer Chiefs is back or abuyile amakhosi. We should just give them time and see how much the consistency lost in terms of them winning more consecutive games. But then we've seen that in terms of structure in the Kaizer Chiefs camp, there was an addition, a fresh addition of 3 new players that were added onto the team, namely Utarik Morris, Ulilepo, and Ucele. So, according to you, Tammy, what do you think these players are going to bring in terms of contribution in the team or in terms of changing the structure and how things are happening right now?
Firstly, when I Vezo, I think we need to highlight a very important thing that I've recognized. So it means both the coach and the technical director are on the same page when they bought these players. Because normally, you find out to a team, actually the management goes out and buy players, but the coach is unaware of the players. I'm saying this because look at the fact that when they were bought, I think 3 days later or 2 days later, Kaizer Chiefs was about to play in Soweto Derby, and all these players, except Morris because was suspended, they were on the bench. So it means the coach already had an idea. He wanted to use them from the word go. Obviously, it was a game of fitness. He was never going to try them out against Orlando Pirates. But let's give credit where it's due because now they came on in the second half. I think both players showed glimpses Uguti they are here to play. But for me, the one player that really showed Uguti he's ready, he wants to play and show much hunger as compared to the two. I'm talking from the Soweto Derby. Ulelepo, I think when he came on the right wing, there was energy, there was the eagerness, the hunger. you could see what he knew, he understood the standard of the game that Kaizer Chiefs was playing then. Yes, they lost. Moving forward, they played in Nedbank Cup. And already for me, it seems like a player on the level is going to carry Kaizer Chiefs home as far as them going well, doing well or going all the way as far as Nedbank Cup is concerned. When they played in Stellenbosch, I saw a player that can play in any position going forward. If you look at how he scored that goal, that header, yes, he's tall, but it's not about the height. It's about the technique and how he scored that goal. So we can show that he is not just a winger. We're talking about the player. Of course, we're talking about the player that played in the CAF Champions League when he was at Al Hilal. Talking about a player that played in Europe, even though he was playing in the second division in France. So you see that there is a player there. And age is still on his side. I think that Kaizer Chiefs brought a player, but we are not going to say he has arrived yet. But so far, so good for the player. And then you've got Utashi Morris. Utashi Morris is the one player that all Kaizer Chiefs, or at most, they are familiar with. We know Utashi Morris was in the IX product, now called Cape Town Spurs. He played for Cape Town City as well. Moved to Sukukuna United. Things did not go well for him. Later went to Kevin Hart. And you know, he is the type of player for Kevin Hart. I'm saying this because you know Kevin Hart loves those old-fashioned number nines, if I would use the word. He holds the ball very well. It's not technically sound. But it makes up for it, of course, when it comes to now. It worked great. This is what you should expect. That's what Kaizer Chiefs supporters should expect from the Morris. They should not expect so many goals. The players that are going to profit and get the fruits are the ones playing around him. Because about Monty, this is why even Ulelepo is going to be scoring more goals. Because if you check how it happened against Stellenbosch, really now they've got Inacio Miguel, they've got Ulelepo, they've got the Morris. So many players are going to benefit around him. And then they've got Thami. For me, that's a special amongst the three. It might happen with Bamtole. They've always been after Utsabokele for a very, very long time. But I think it was we know a Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs will wait for a contract to come to 6 months or for a contract to come to an end. And I know that they're a well paying team, but when it's come to buying out a player, that's a story for another day. So they waited really. Obviously, we know Utel is a product of the very sound KZN Academy that produced Yaya Stole, for example, outside themselves as well. So he's coming from that academy as well. And they have this trend of just producing players and sending them abroad. I think they have a relationship with I know they have a relationship with some of the teams, Benfica, CD, whatnot, from in Portugal. So Mkali and I went the same route. He went to Portugal at a very young age and end up obviously going to Poland and eventually Russia. And then get in relationship with player or the player rather requested to come back to South Africa because he wanted to be closer to family. You never know if that was an idea for him to come back and play for Kaizer Chiefs or finally play for Kaizer Chiefs because you can see with his age is catching up. He's 28 now. He's at the age where he should be performing. You can't be calling a player like that a youngster or a player that needs to be, given time. No, he's 28, and I think it's already shown. I think Kaizer Chiefs now they're accountable with if I get Kumat, if I get Comteta, they have a player that can play both positions. Because I saw him very well during the Olympics. He can play as a deep six. He can play as, the modern deep lying six. He can play as an 8 and even as a 10. So in case of Chief now has got a player, especially with the fact that Castillo is out and Mojo is slowly coming back. Who's one is probably going to start playing well now. This is why you see in the starting lineup, who coach now knows what to do. He knows the starting lineup. Hence, I was saying, these players gave Kaizer Chiefs the structure, the system, and the direction.
Okay. All right. I think you broke it down very well there. I don't even think I have anything much to add, but rather just agree with you on the points that you have given us. So, from what Utami has said to us, I think that we can get some sort of idea that if you look at the structure that Kaizer Chiefs currently has or is going towards, you might think that in the next coming season, they might just be able to compete for that title. You never know. So Lefatse, what do you think they need to do, or who do you think they need to bring into the team so that they're able to compete with the likes of Orlando Pirates and Sundowns for that title in the next season or the next coming seasons?
Let me start here, Vezo. Uh, Let us not rush the process. For me, it takes time to build the team. Um, it doesn't happen. I think I've only seen one coach who's going to win the Nakona. He hasn't won the league, and I think that it's the coach from Liverpool. But also he came in and he got a team that was already stable. We do coach Nabi. He needs times to build a team. Same thing that happens to Jose Rivero. He came to an Orlando Pirates, he built a team, he bought about Tito, bought about Nzondo, about team and so forth. So Coach Nabi, for me, yes, he's on the right trajectory right now, but he still needs time to build, maybe allow the players to gel, allow the players to understand the system, allow the players to understand each other, and allow the players to understand maybe the style of play. So for me, maybe next season might not be the time. But if they want to start competing with the likes of Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates in the foreseeable future, these are the signings that I think possibly they can get and try and improve. For me, a Fars Pasadin from Stellenbosch, I think he'd be a great addition to the Kaizer Chiefs. That's for me though, because he's technically sound. He's tactically very, very good. He understands what he needs to do, and also he's a national team player. So that's number one. Number two, for me, they need to go and get maybe a Tato Kiba, who is Futi Stellenbosch. For me, he's a brilliant, brilliant midfielder. I know Uti Orlando Pirates can come in and get him, but I think Kaizer Chiefs can really, really use him because he can complement. For me, I feel like he can complement the likes of Duduzi Shabalala, the likes of Mfundo Villarreal, or even Ucele himself. Why am I saying that, Vezo? It's because Utato Kiba is a ball-playing midfielder. He's not a midfielder, Njengabo Abo Ox. No, that one that will mark the ball all the time. No. Once he receives the ball, he has the ability to play a more progressive passes. He has the ability to do what we call upulama windy. You know, when he passes the ball and then the defensive line is broken and the team can initiate a attack. So for me, it's Fawaz Pasadin, maybe a Tato Kiba. And then who knows? Mamelodi Sundowns has implemented the style of going abroad. You know, maybe they can go abroad and get a striker in America, South America. Not this thing of Lamatim 80 certain guy. They go into Africa and then they buy players. It doesn't make sense to buy a player that is playing in a league that is below the PSL in terms of AMA rating, in terms of the tactical ability of the teams there. Why not go into South America like Sundowns? I know Kaizer Chiefs has money, but the question is, are they going to go there and buy the players? We don't know. But for me, if I was Pasadin, it's Hato Kiba, and then maybe a striker that is tactically and technically sound, I think those signings in the great foreseeable future can take Kaizer Chiefs into the next level.
Mhm. Hi, ngiyakuzwa Lefatse. Okay, so I think you've mentioned Stellenbosch a lot, and you want Kaizer Chiefs to dig into Stellenbosch and shop for their best options right there. So that brings me to my next question. Actually, Stellenbosch, is known for finishing in that top three. We've been seeing them doing that in the past few seasons, and they've been doing it very well. They've actually made a name for themselves as one of the biggest teams in South Africa. But when you look at this season, you see that they have been struggling a lot. They've been struggling to keep up with their reputation, but they've also been struggling to keep up with the positions that they've kept in the PSL log. So, do you think that Stellenbosch is still capable of going into that number three spot, or do you think that another team might go into that number three spot? Actually, this question is for both of you. So let me start with Thami this time around. What do you think, Thami?
Um, Lefatse is just. I think Amatima South Africa as a whole send a fair tree of getting players. I think we need to commend Stellenbosch for whatever that they are doing behind the scenes. I think a recruitment team yakona. I mean, if you really follow Stellenbosch, it does not start with the first team only. Look at the DDC team. Look at how they're performing, and also look at how they move players from the DDC team to the first team. Uh, Something amazing is being done in the winelands. And it has now started with Tamatima Makul, Paris Sandan, and KD Chiefs. Whenever they want a quality player, they know Stellenbosch has. I think Lefatse is spot on. You can never ignore Pasadin. Pasadin goes to Kaizer Chiefs, he fits in, especially since now they've lost to the club because there's question marks around the clause. But to answer your question, when I Vezo, I expected this to happen. There is no way you're going to sell players in and out almost every season, and you're competing for each and every cup every season, and then you're going to maintain that. To be honest with you, I knew would see halfway through the season, both Orlando Pirates, especially Orlando Pirates and Stellenbosch, because if you look, I think they played an MTN 8 final, both teams, and they're competing very well as far as the CAF competitions are concerned. And also there is a league. And then obviously the difference between the two now being that Stellenbosch, they are selling players, Pirates are not selling players. I think Pirates, obviously, they keep the core of the team. They decided not to buy, but they're keeping the core of the team and loaning out those players they seem like they're not going to use. But Stellenbosch want to find money, but they've got an eye for a replacement. That is why Danilo Adams, they already had to keep Ukiba, which is a player I was shocked because I thought both Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates are going to go for a player like Ukiba, but that is story for another day. So to be honest with you, I think I was aware that Stellenbosch was going to struggle, and for me, if I were to put my head on the block, I'm going to say, or I'm going to say, Stellenbosch are going to finish probably number 5 in the league come the end of the season. I know they're going to recover, but they're not going to make the top 3 this time around. I think they're going to finish number 5. I'm giving Kaizer Chiefs number 3. That's the challenge for Coach Nabi, and I think people should be aware. Stellenbosch started very bad as far as competition is concerned. I think they were surprised. You know, when you get there, Lapana Klungiswa, you need to get there and play. But as soon as they got used to the environment, to have things are done in the CAF confederations, that's why they qualified. And that's something very big for South African football. And I think they can go all the way and compete in the final. But as far as the league is concerned, I see them finishing top 8, possibly top 5. And I am aware of the reason why. Because now, remember they bought Unku from Sundowns. And if you check the past 2 games, they're trying to introduce him to that front 3, Unku. And also Ukiba is in and out, but whenever he's playing, he goes for a man of the match performance. So there's something going on. I think that I've also noticed because even the right back is a new youngster from the development team. So they're trying to build the team, but they have a coach. They will perform.
Okay. And Lefatse, what is your take?
No, for me, I'm looking at the current log, and I'm thinking to myself, these are the teams that maybe can possibly fight for that third position. I wouldn't rule out Stellenbosch. I wouldn't rule out Kaizer Chiefs. I wouldn't rule out Kukune. But of these 3, I feel like Kaizer Chiefs, they stand a better chance. You know why? Let's start with this Kukune. This Kukune, they are inconsistent. That is their problem. They play one, they win, the next game they draw, the next game they lose. You know, so inconsistency is not needed, especially at this time of the season. If you want to be competing, if you want to finish third, I don't think Kukune has what it takes. They have the players. Let me not lie to you. They have quality players. You look at their midfield, you look at their attack. Out of these 3 teams, I believe Minuti Skokune, they have the best squad. Let's come to Stellenbosch. I share the same sentiment with what Thami is saying. I think the Confederations Cup is knocking them out. You know why? I think it's tiring them. For me, I feel like they are favorites. One of the favorites to win the CAF Confederations after the team RS Bekane. I'm not sure if it's from Morocco or Algeria. Yeah. So I believe they would want to go all the way. But remember, for Vezo, there is also the Nedbank Cup. You know, so now they have the Confederations Cup, the Nedbank Cup, and the league. I don't think they have the squad, no matter they have what it takes to compete in these 3 teams. Utam spoke of something that is very of interest to me yesterday. Stellenbosch are still a young team, Jal. It's just because of the way they have been performing over the last 2 years. It makes it seem like they are a big team. Let us give credit where it's due. Let us give credit. So for me, in case the Chiefs I think they are best suited to finish third. So for me, that number 3 spot is for the Kaizer Chiefs. They are in good form. They are revived. They just brought in their 3 quality players. So let us see. But between these 3 teams, Sikukune, Stellenbosch, and Kaizer Chiefs. But Chiefs are favorites.
But ke sizobona ukuthi kuzokwenzeka kanjani. You know, I think that's where we wrap it up in our chat today. So guys, please stay tuned to the TCB show. If you have not subscribed to our page, make sure you click that button, subscribe, and then we will see you again next time discussing some more things. Goodbye, and we'll see you next time.